Radiance is the ship of light. Everywhere you look, there's glass, there's light, there's sweeping vistas of the ocean. It's the perfect ship for Alaska because everywhere you go, you're in touch with the ocean, you're in touch with the scenery.
As cruisers embark on a 7-day adventure to Alaska, the first stop is the check-in, where each passenger receives a key to all the pleasures that await on board. It's called a Sea Pass, and it acts as a charge card and stateroom key all in one.
How you doing tonight?
As passengers check in, down below, dock workers are busy packing Radiance's cargo deck with tons of food and supplies for the week-long journey. They're loading her up with 12,500 pounds of fresh vegetables, 785 gallons of ice cream, more than 2,700 bottles of champagne, 250 cases of bottled water, and 6,000 pounds of flour. With all passengers and supplies on board, it's time for Radiance of the Seas to set sail.
Bye.
Starting out in Vancouver, Canada, cruisers will travel through Southeast Alaska's Inside Passage, a narrow waterway 400 miles long. Stopping at 3 ports of call, this cruise will cover a total distance of 2,205 nautical miles.
A cruise really is the best way to see Alaska because of the fact that so much of Alaska is isolated. It's not a sun and fun destination. It's a destination that's about seeing the unspoiled frontier that is Alaska.
Apart from enjoying the scenery, there's still tons to do on this luxury liner. You can catch a flick at the cinema, surf the net, and even stay in shape at the 15,500 square foot Ship Shape Center. Whether you run, lift weights, or take part in dozens of classes offered each week, you can sweat it out here without missing a moment of Alaska's beautiful scenery. But Radiance of the Sea's hottest spot is this tropical paradise, the Solarium. Located on Deck 11, it's the ship's most popular watering hole. It's a jungle in here, complete with 3 life-size elephants, a waterfall, and over 400 plants. And the temperature's always a toasty 78 degrees. Radiance of the Seas caters to a relaxed crowd of outdoor lovers. So if you want to take it outside, you can scale the ship's 30-foot rock climbing wall or putt around on the 9-hole golf course. But safety comes first on this ship.
Excuse me, can you put your life jacket on, please?
So before the fun really gets going, passengers participate in a mandatory emergency drill.
Make sure all the cabins are empty.
That's correct.
Excellent, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Jolly good.
All cruisers must gather in designated stations around the 18 lifeboats that line the ship's 5th deck.
It's a good representation of where they should go in an emergency, where they should go to their assembly stations, their muster stations.
At their assigned stations, passengers are shown evacuation techniques.
How are we doing, folks?
Very well.
It's also an opportunity for the crew to test out their emergency skills.
You should be very vocal. You should be saying, put your life jackets on. You understand why? Yes.
On this ship, safety's no joke, but the man everyone relies on to steer clear of danger is the captain, Tor Torolvason.
Letting the stern.
It's his job to pilot this massive vessel, but navigating through Alaska's Inside Passage is nothing like sailing on the high seas.
You navigate in more narrow waters. You navigate in fog. You navigate in conditions that can be quite challenging.
Alaska's Inside Passage is an archipelago of islands and towering mountains carved out by glaciers more than 15,000 years ago. It's also filled with icebergs, making the captain's most daunting challenge, avoiding breaking the ice.
When I'm turning the ship, it is very, very important that we are not getting ice into the propellers.
Have we passed it?
The ship's propellers are extremely sensitive. One nudge by an iceberg could cause severe damage. Amazingly enough, the captain can steer the entire ship effectively with this little joystick. But up here on the bridge, the ship's 4,000 square foot control center, the majority of the navigation is actually controlled by computers. And just in case of computer error, the officers on duty ensure a safe journey by plotting the course by hand on this low-tech paper map. And round the clock, 2 officers are positioned on the bridge to supervise the computers and scan the horizon for objects that may not show up on the radar. With all eyes on deck, the captain navigates Radiance of the Seas into her first port of call, the state capital of Alaska.
Hi everybody, welcome to Juneau, we're here! Yay!
The city of Juneau is set in the beautiful Tongass National Forest. With just over 30,000 residents, it is a small town in terms of population, but it's actually the biggest town in North America, at a staggering 3,248 square miles. Juneau is twice the size of the state of Rhode Island. One reason for its massive size is this glacier. It's one of Alaska's many natural wonders. 1.5 miles across and hundreds of feet thick, Mendenhall Glacier is an arresting 1,500 square miles of ice and snow. And if passengers start to feel the chill, they may want to head to town to warm up and see the sights.
I'd like to welcome you all to the Alaskan Brewing Company.
This brewery produces up to 90,000 barrels of beer a year and is the largest brewing company in the state.
Alaskans prefer full-bodied beers, something that gives you something in your stomach, something warming, partly because of our weather and climate. It has a little bit to do with that. So our Amber is the best-selling beer on tap here in the state of Alaska.
Alaskan Amber Ale makes up 80% of production on site, and it's actually based on an old Gold Rush recipe. But this brewery's not Juneau's only connection to the state's Gold Rush past. The Red Dog Saloon is the most popular bar in town. It's been in existence since the late 1800s, and it's dedicated to America's prospectors and miners who struck gold here at the turn of the century. One step through these doors is a step back in time.
Over the years, many miners have enjoyed the presence and ambience of the Red Dog. We have many components of the mine in here, as a matter of fact. This is an 18-foot ceiling, and we have a lot of things, such as the bear chasing a fellow through the pole there.
With sawdust on the floor, old photos, and countless animal trophies, you know you're definitely in for a wild time. When passengers get their fill of the 19th century, their luxury cruise liner awaits, and so do the good times. The Radiance of the Seas has 12 bars, including the popular champagne bar where guests can dress up, sip some bubbly, and dig into the scrumptious chocolate-covered strawberries. And at the Centrum Bar, bartender Wayan Sudarta serves up all the crew's favorites. For Wayan, service is never complete without evoking a few oohs and ahs.
But now look at the card at your hand. This must be a card.
Wayan keeps his customers happy with a little magic, not to mention a well-stocked bar. And on deck 6, the Colony Club offers up its own bit of magic. At this bar, you can rack them up with the cruise industry first, self-leveling pool tables. These innovative billiard tables are controlled by computers that automatically adjust to the sway of the vessel. So if you miss your shot, don't blame the ship. If you'd rather skip the games and settle in with a glass of wine, you won't be disappointed by the selection. Radiance of the Seas boasts 10,000 bottles of reds and whites, and its very own cellar master, with a nose for the very best.
Nice smell.
Normally what a winemaker tells you is, you chew the wine. The wine goes all over your tongue. As we know, we have a lot of taste buds. We can denote the wine, whether it's the wine is a full body, or the wine is medium, or dry, or sweet, or the hint of chocolate, or a hint of tobacco.
With so many bottles to choose from, a cruise may be the perfect opportunity to sharpen your taste buds. From the wide Alaskan vistas to the toasty tropics, this floating fun park is full of surprises. But as we head north through the Inside Passage, on board and on land, the adventure is just beginning. Coming up, passengers heed the call of the wild and hold on for the ride of their life. Then, we'll find out what it takes to power up this 90,000-ton wonder. And later, we'll ride the rails deep into the heart of Alaska's interior.